Okay, hello students. We are going to discuss about the general characteristics of a language. Before going to discuss the general characteristics of a language, we must understand what is language. Okay, that means we'll have to go through the definition of language first, and then we'll go through the characteristics of a language. In this slide, I'm asking you a question. The question is, what is language? Just have a look what is written in the slide. Language is a system of conventional spoken, manual, or written symbols by means of which human beings, as members of a social group and participants in its culture, express themselves. So basically, we can say language is a medium through which we can communicate with each other. So in this definition, what is written? Language is a sort of system. Okay, what type of system it is? It is a system of conventional, that might be spoken, that might be written. Okay, so in a sense, we can say what is the meaning of the word conventional? The meaning of the word conventional is which is something traditional. Okay, that means a group of people since time immemorial they decided certain words, certain signs, certain symbols, okay, to express their emotions, to express their feelings, etc., etc. Okay, there's language is nothing but a sign system. Language is nothing but certain symbols, okay, by means of which human beings, okay, as members of a social group, as members of a particular society, and participants, they can express their emotions, they can express their feelings, etc., etc. So this is the simplest definition of language. Now, according to Bloch and Traeger, a language is a system of arbitrary vocal sounds by means of a social group cooperates. According to Bloch and Traeger, what did they say? Language is a sort of system. Okay, what type of system it is? It's a system of arbitrary vocal sounds. That means the vocal sounds chosen by the people. Okay, these are not fixed. It is not theoretical. It is arbitrary. Arbitrary means randomly selected. Okay, and what is the purpose? So that they can express their emotions, sentiments, etc. That means it's a medium through which they can communicate with each other. Apart from this, Saucer says that language is really a borderland between thought and sound. According to the point of view of Ferdinand de Saussure, what is language? Language is a borderland, okay, between thought and sound. That means it is a combination, okay, language is a combination of thought and sound. What is the purpose of this combination? So that people can express their emotions, feelings, sentiments. That means in a sense we can say people can communicate with each other. So we have, in a sense we can say, concept of language. I think you have understood what does language mean. Now we'll have to go through the characteristics of a language. Okay, the first characteristics of a language is arbitrary. Arbitrary means randomly selected. That means there is no any natural relation between a word and its meaning. Is that okay? For example, in Assamese, okay, we call a particular object, suppose kitab, okay, but in English the kitab is known as book. Is that okay? That means there is no any natural relationship between a word and its meaning. If we do not know the English language, suppose, okay, if we do not know the English language, someone is saying, someone is mentioning the word called book, we will not be able to relate the word book with kitab. But if we know the particular language English, only then we'll be able to understand the meaning of the word book. Is that okay? That means language is something arbitrary. Okay, language is something random. Okay, there is no fixed rule, there is no theory. Okay, there is no natural setup behind language. Okay, let me explain. Suppose five, okay, people, okay, five people, they assemble somewhere and they decided to name, suppose, a pen, okay, not as a pen but as a duster. Okay, right from that particular moment, only the five people they know that it will be called what? Not as a pen but by a duster, called as a duster. But next moment when someone from that particular group is asking for a duster, okay, one of them might provide not the actual duster but the pen. That means it is an agreement among the five people. That means it is arbitrary. So from that particular point of view, we can say that language is what? Language is arbitrary. This is the first characteristics of a language. Okay. And what is the second characteristics? The second characteristic is language is a social phenomena. That means there is a particular relation between society and language. Through language, okay, the people of the society, in a sense, we can say they can have a worldview of the society. This is the reason behind that we can say language is a social phenomena. Is that okay? Now we'll have to go through the third characteristic feature of a language. What is the third one? Language is a symbolic system. Okay, language is nothing but certain symbols, certain signs. It might be spoken, it might be written. Is that okay? And with those symbols, with those signs, okay, people in a society, they can communicate, they can express their feelings, they can express their sentiments, etc., etc. So what is the third characteristics of a language? Language is a symbolic system. Is that okay? And what is the fourth characteristics of language? Language is systematic. Okay, it must be systematic. Only then people will be able to understand a language. If it is not systematic, okay, then it is not possible for people to understand a particular language. Is it okay? The human language, okay, it is systematic. So we can say that this is a feature of a language. What is the feature? Language is systematic enough. Now, what is the next feature of a language? Language is vocal, verbal, and sound. Language is nothing but certain sounds. Okay, it might be vocal, verbal, etc., etc. So when someone suppose makes some sound, and those sounds should be meaningful. Only then meaningful sounds would be understood. Okay, or the meaningful sounds are understood by the people of that particular society. Is it okay? So this is a feature of language. What is the feature? Language is vocal, language is verbal, and language is nothing but certain meaningful sounds. Is that okay? Now what is the next feature? Language is non-instinctive, conventional. Okay, language is a conventional system. Since time immemorial, okay, people, okay, they decided certain codes, they decided certain symbols or signs, okay, to understand a particular object. And after that, after the agreement, okay, traditionally all these things are going on and on and on. Okay, language is nothing but an outcome of all these conventional practices. Is that okay? Now what is the next feature of language? Language is productive and creative. Productivity and creativity, these are certain qualities of a language. For example, suppose one particular sentence, okay, if I say they played cricket, okay, they played cricket yesterday, okay, I'm using this sentence using active voice, okay, but someone might say cricket was played by them yesterday, so that means they were using it in a different manner. That means a particular thing, a particular idea, a particular concept we can express in a different manner using the productivity and creativity of a language. So from that particular point of view, we can say language is productive and creative. What is the next feature of language? Language is a system of communication. Okay, why a language was created? Why language was created? Why? This is the purpose, that we can communicate with each other. This is systematic. Okay, this is systematic communication among human beings. So this is, in a sense, we can say it is a feature. What is the feature? Language is a system of communication. So these are some characteristics of a language. Okay, I hope you have understood. Okay, thank you. Keep learning.